Alright, y'all, so I tried to find a really good video on simple interest and I couldn't find one, so here is my own. So basically to calculate interest, all we need to know is three things: the principal, the interest rate, and the time of the loan. To make it really simple on us, we're going to start by practicing loans that are just 1 year in time. So we all know when we multiply something by 1, it stays the same. So we can essentially eliminate this variable from our equation. So then we're really just left with these things: interest, principal, and rate. Alright, so before we get into calculating interest, I just want to go over some of the terms to make sure we're talking the same language. What we're figuring out is interest. That's going to be like the dollar amount that the borrower pays. And then in order to calculate that, here's what we need to know. We need to know the principal, or the original loan amount, the number of dollars that were borrowed. We also need to know the interest rate. That's usually expressed as a percentage. And like I said before, we need to know the time, but for our purposes, we're just going to do it for 1 year, and that essentially eliminates that from the calculation. So really all we're doing is we're taking the principal times interest rate to find the interest that the borrower pays. And here's the only thing that's going to throw us off. What we have to do is we need to, when we're doing this calculation, we need to convert this percentage into a decimal. And if it's been a while since you've done that, here's how it works. It's quite simple. Let me draw a quick table here. All we're going to do is we're going to start with the percentage, and then I'm going to write a D for decimal over here. So for example, if our interest rate is, say, 12%, all we're going to do is we're going to move this decimal 1, 2 places, and that's going to be how we express 12% as a decimal. So 12% is going to be expressed as a decimal as, let me put my decimal a little bigger, 0.12. Or, for example, if we have an interest rate of 8%, we're going to have to imagine there's an invisible 0 here. And that's going to be expressed as 0.08. So this is really going to be the only thing that throws anyone off when we're doing these calculations that are fairly straightforward. Alright, so here's my example. If I need $100 and Grace loans me that $100 and she feels that 8% is fair and I agree to that, here's how it's going to work. The principal is that $100 loan. The interest rate is that 8%, and remember we translated that into decimal form. So 8% turns into 0.08. And then, like I said, it's going to be for a year, so we can almost eliminate that. Obviously, if you multiply that in your calculator, you'll get the same number. But if we take 100 times 0.08, we're going to get $8 a year on that loan.